Self-sabotage. I've heard that expression a little bit of late. People say to me, Rowie, I'm sabotaging myself. I'm stopping myself from achieving my goals. I'm not getting the things done that I want to do. I'm not feeling like a wow human being. Why am I self-sabotaging? Here's a great question. Could there be a better question? If you ask your brain, what am I doing wrong? How am I losing? Why am I not achieving? Why am I fat? Why am I broke? Your human brain will tell you exactly why. The human brain has an interesting connection between the subconscious brain and the conscious brain. Our conscious brain connects or collects information, connects it all together, and we make decisions in our conscious brain. That gets fed through to our subconscious brain, and our subconscious brain stores all of that information. This sounds very exciting, doesn't it, this neuroscience stuff? Just in case you're wondering how all this works, have a look at a Google search engine. When you type in something into Google, you have typed the words. So you've asked Google to give you information about this, and you type in the words. Google is the source, the engine, the storage system for all of the information. So it will say, okay, here are all the files on whatever you've typed in. The human brain works exactly the same. That's how Larry and Sergey, who developed the Google search engine, the original starters of the company, that's how they developed the Google search engine, was type in a word exactly like you do with your brain, ask your brain a question, and your subconscious brain, which is storing all of the information that's ever been put into it, will feed back exactly what you asked for. So if you ask yourself, why am I fat? Your brain will tell you, because you eat too much, you're lazy, you're undisciplined, you have a challenge with your self-esteem, you're fat because you asked your brain to tell you that. So if you ask your brain, why am I self-sabotaging? Your brain will tell you, because you don't believe in yourself, you haven't got good self-esteem, you're not good enough, and all the reasons that have ever come into your life for not being good at something, your brain will feed them back to you. Now, once that's in your conscious brain, what kind of day you're going to have and what kind of decisions are you going to make and what's your life going to be like if you've asked your brain such a stupid question? So how about we stop asking silly questions, negative questions that will produce negative answers from our own brain, because our brain will do what we tell it to do. Isn't that bloody exciting? So if I say to my brain, how can I win? How can I achieve? How can I be more disciplined? What do I need to do to get more money, have better relationships, get a better career path, whatever it is that you want, you've got to ask your own brain the positive question, not the negative one. And I use a simple example. If I say, I can't afford it, I will never be able to afford it. It's not even asking a question anymore. I've told my brain, you can't afford it. Don't even dream about it. You can't afford it. But if I ask my own brain, how can I afford it? What do I need to do? What different things do I need to do? What strategies do I need to come up with? What kind of financial plan do I have to be able to afford this? My own brain will brainstorm with me. They always say brainstorm with somebody who has a brain. Well, all of us have got a brain. It's just the questions that we ask our brain that will give us the results that we want. So if I say to my own brain, how can I afford it? What do I need to do? My brain will go into overload and provide me with the answers. I'm going to brainstorm with my own storage system. And that's the most beautiful thing that Larry and Sergey from Google have taught me, for example, is that everything is stored there. Everything on the World Wide Web is stored in Google. You just have to tap in the right words. Everything you want from your own brain is stored in there. You just have to tap in the right words. So if you tap in, I'm fat, your brain will say, yes, you are, and here's all the reasons why. If you ask your brain, how do I become lean, healthy, fit, and strong, your brain will give you the answers. You're really smart, I'm really smart, our brain will work it out. The challenge is that we ask the wrong questions. We give our brain the wrong information, and then it gives us I'll rephrase. We give it the information that we give it, and it then responds in exactly the way that it's going to, which is what we've asked it to do. So here's a great question. What are you doing every single day to change the wiring of your brain? And this is not a have to go and get brain surgery, have to be a brain surgeon, have to do neuroscience. Studying neuroscience is probably not a bad idea. How does the brain actually work? And the connections between the brain, so neuroscience is how does the brain work? What is neuroplasticity, which is how does the brain change? And then what is neurogenesis, which is how do I grow new brain cells? How do I drop off the old rotten, silly ways of thinking? And how do I create a new way of thinking so that I can do different things with my life? And I think that's the all-important question. What do I need to do differently? What do I need to change to get a different result? And here's my really important question. If you have a look at, and there's 4 areas of life that I always analyse because I think these are the big ones that make a big difference to life, and you let me know what you think. Number 1 is being healthy, fit and strong. Number 2 is having a career or business that you love. So what is it that you do for money? Are you financially free? Because obviously the world that we live in is controlled by finances. If you don't have any money, life can be very complicated. If you're financially free, freedom is what I'm looking for. Freedom and choice. That means I've got enough money that I'm free and I can make choices. And then 4 is relationships. So it's health, career path, money and relationships. Those 4 areas. Now here's my question. Do fit, healthy, strong, physically fit, lean people live their life differently than people that are overweight and unfit? People who have a career or business that they love, do they live their life differently? Do they ask different questions? Do they think differently than people that have a lousy, stinking, rotten job that they hate that hardly pays the lousy, stinking, rotten bills? People who are financially free, people who have money and they don't have to worry about money ever again because they've got freedom and choice, do they live their life differently, think differently, act differently, make different decisions than people that are broke and getting worse? And we now live in a world where broke is, you can go way past broke. You can get into so much debt that you're in really serious trouble. And then what about relationships? People that have beautiful, loving, kind, respectful relationships with the people in their life, do they think differently, do things differently, make different decisions than the people who have lousy, stinking, horrible, disrespectful, nasty, bullying, horrible people in their life? And of course, the answer to all of those questions, just the logical answer, what is the difference? Obviously, the brain thinking system is different. The decision-making system is different. The thought pattern is different. And the outcome and the results are different from those 2 mindsets. So what do healthy people do differently to unhealthy? What do people with a successful career or business do different to people who've got a lousy job? What do wealthy people do differently to poor people? And what do people who have great relationships do differently to people that have terrible relationships? And all of that information is not just accessible to all of us, but I'm standing here in front of you with an international fitness business college, so a standalone, become an exercise professional, learn how to be healthy, fit and strong and help the people in your life to do that, and how to have a successful career or business, which means you're going to be financially free. And the last part of the program, which I think is the wrap up and the most important part, is how to have great relationships with yourself, with your family, with your customers, your clients, your members, all of the people in your life. So the Max program is literally designed to give you the skills, tools and knowledge to be healthy, fit and strong for the rest of your life and help other people in your life to be the same. How to have a successful career or business. Every skill, tool and knowledge you need is in the program to have a successful, profitable career or business. How to be financially free is just the next step from that, isn't it? If you're really good at what you do, if you have a business that you love, that you're passionate about, that's adding value to people's lives, if you're in a career path that you're really good at and you're adding value to the business, of course you're going to earn more money, you're going to be financially free, and then how do you communicate effectively? Those are skills that we can all learn. I've had to learn them and I have learnt them and I'm excited that they're available to all of us. We're not born as good communicators. And maybe you can say, well, some people are, they're just a natural at it. But here's my challenge with natural. If you think you're good at something, is it possible that you don't get better? There's a lot of people who say, well, I'm unconsciously competent at playing that sport. I'm really good at it. Or I'm unconsciously competent at communicating. Or I'm a really good salesperson. Or I'm a really good mother. But is it possible that as soon as you say, I'm really good, we can't get any better? There's those 4 stages of learning, and we talk about these in the Max program. Unconsciously incompetent means you don't know that you're not good at it. Consciously incompetent says that I know that I'm not good at it and I probably need to learn. Consciously competent means I can do it, but I'm not very good at it or I'm getting better. And unconsciously competent means I think I'm bloody good at it and I can do it naturally. And we always use the example of driving. When you're a kid, you don't know that you can't drive and you don't care. When you start learning how to drive, you are consciously incompetent. So especially if you're learning a manual drive, it's first clutch, second clutch, drive. How do I do this? And you have to think about it. You're not very good at it. Then you become consciously competent, so you can drive, but you still have to think about it. And then we get to the point where we drive somewhere and we don't even realise how we got there because we're so good at it. But there's the challenge. Often the police will share that's where car accidents happen because we think we're bloody good drivers and we're not. We're so used to driving a certain road that we're not aware of it anymore. We've become unconsciously competent. Here's my question. What if we all remained consciously competent? So every day, at the end of the day, you ask yourself, how can I get fitter and stronger, and how can I explain it better to other people in my life so they can be fit and strong too? How can I keep getting better at my career path and my business so that I can help other people I am living and setting the example for my children to see that you can have a career or business that you love? How can I keep getting better at my business so that my customers and clients can see massive value being added to their lives on a day-to-day basis? How can I become more financially free? And when I say that, wouldn't it be great to be at the point where money has no control over your life? You can look at I'll rephrase, you don't have to look at any price tag. You can just buy something because you want it, not because of what the price tag says. And that's what I wish for everybody, because most people's lives are controlled by, can I afford it? Here's the better question again. How can I afford it? And more importantly than that, what do I need to do every day to become more financially free so that money is never controlling my life? I want to be in control of my life, not money. How about you? And then what about relationships? What am I doing every day to create a better relationship with myself, my self-esteem and my self-confidence? How am I creating better relationships with my family, my partner? How can I become a better lover, a better communicator, a better listener, a person who understands better? And then how can I create even better relationships with my customers, my clients, my members, so that my business can keep getting better and better? And I think that those beautiful questions could lead to a different place, because most people ask, why am I fat? Why am I broke? Why do I hate my job? And why have I got such lousy relationships? And if you ask your brain those questions, it will tell you why. So let's ask positive questions to get positive thought space. Neurogenesis happens, change of brain, grow new brain cells, so neuroplasticity and neurogenesis only happens when we force it to. If we keep thinking the same thing over and over, and the brain scientists, the neuroscientists will say that most human beings have exactly the same thoughts today and the next day and the next day. We just wake up, go to work, do our thing, go to bed, wake up, go to work, do our thing, and we're thinking the same thing all the time. The only way to get neuroplasticity and neurogenesis is to think differently. Change your own brain. Ask it better questions. Force your brain to overload. Get smarter, get stronger, get wiser. And of course, as an exercise professional, I'm going to add that all together, or put that all together in a beautiful package which says get puffed and lift heavy, so that when you lift heavy, you get stronger. When you're stronger, you can get puffed harder, and that's when neurogenesis occurs. When you pump brain-derived neurotropic factor into your brain, which is fertilizer for your brain, you can get that when you laugh, you can get that when you learn, you can get that when you hang out with gorgeous people. But the biggest rush and the biggest production of brain-derived neurotropic factor and dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin and all of the happy drugs happen when we exercise. When you get puffed and when you lift heavy, that's when your brain changes. So if you're really fit and really strong, it means that you'll make better decisions, you'll be more creative, you'll be able to come up with better questions to ask your own brain. If you want your life to be better, should you be forcing it to get better? Or do you think it's going to get better by a pretty pink box falling out of the sky? Well, I want to give you a pretty pink box. It's called Ask Better Questions and Study. Your Max program will give you everything you need, but you actually have to study it. How do I get healthy, fit and strong? How does a human body work? How do I have a career or business that is successful and profitable? How do I become financially free? And how do I have great relationships with myself and other people? They could be really great questions so that you can differentiate yourself from the people who are unhappy, who are broke, who are unhealthy, who have lousy, stinking, rotten jobs and they're in terrible relationships. They're different people because of different headspaces and different thought patterns. What are you doing to create a different thought pattern so your life can be different? What a great question. Woohoo!